it's so easy to get distracted in December, with like show of hands, who's got like holiday parties, all these things to go to, these events, right? And it's very easy to take your eye off the prize of, hey, look, we need to we definitely need to keep the production going. So that'll be part 2. So I thought today we'd start with, like, how do you like, from a mindset perspective, how do you start your day? Like morning routines. I'd like to spend a few minutes, go around the horn, and especially if you have like a consistent morning routine that you feel like helps you get the day going and sort of start it off in the right manner. Love to talk about that. I have something that I can share at the end, but I think starting the day off the right way is super important. Brendan, we've talked about this before. So I don't know. I figured let's just go around, like, raise your hand or just speak up if you've got like a morning routine that you've implemented or you feel like helps you with just getting the day going. Love to hear from the field. Who's got something?
Hey, Michael, it's Andy in Nashville.
Andy. What's up, Andy?
Recently for me, it's been my morning routine has changed, kind of here and there over the years. But recently it's been first thing in the morning, I get up. I'm usually alarms off by about 6:30. And I am going straight to like a morning walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And honestly, the colder, the better, because it gets me going. But
wakes you up.
Yeah, for me, it's morning walk, and then I'd come straight back home and journal for about 10, 15 minutes, kind of do some spiritual stuff,
Nice.
Maybe 15 to 30, kind of all encompassing. And then from there, it's like really mindset, like just I feel primed after that. And then it's, whatever I got going on the rest of the day. So it's really just that morning walk, morning hydration, and then doing my spiritual stuff.
Cool. How long you been doing it?
This really consistently for a couple months.
Okay.
And it's been great because it's really easy to track. I have my journal. No one else is up yet, so it's all me, and I get to focus on just my stuff.
Cool. Love it. Very nice. I like it. Who else? Who else? Who's got something to share?
It's Jesse.
Hey, Jesse.
I get up and get my son ready for school. I think like getting him out the door and me having to get ready and out the door really gives me like this is when we go to work, I guess. But before that, like the thing I do before I make sure I get him out the door is I do a little bit of learning. Like I do a language-based app thing, and like Bible study. So I'll do those in the morning, get him ready, get out the door. And by the time we're both leaving, I feel like it's work. Like as soon as I leave, like then I'm ready for work.
Cool. What time do you take your son? What time do you get him out the door?
So he's late at 8 o'clock. So as long as I leave by about 7:45. I mean, I try to leave at like 7:35, but usually it's 7:45.
Cool. That's awesome. A little learning early in the morning. Nice. Who else? Who else has something to share? Well, I'll share and you guys can think. So I was in Nashville, what is it, a few weeks ago, a month ago, I guess, guys. And Dino shared something with me. It's called Miracle Mornings, which it's like an app. It's pretty cool. And I started doing that. I think I'm on, I don't know, almost a month's worth. But basically, so I changed my morning routine a little bit. I normally get up early. I work out at 5:30. But so, and I don't know where I heard this from, but I used to get up, get a cup of coffee, and then literally drink the coffee on the way to my CrossFit workout. But I read something that the very first thing, so I've switched to drinking 8 ounces of water right off the bat as soon as I get up. So that I do 8 ounces of water, do these miracle mornings, which is basically like meditation, visualization. There's a scribing piece to it. It's pretty cool. And it's got different narrators. And so Dino turned me on to that. So it's pretty cool. Just a simple app. And then
I just put the link to the app in chat if anybody's interested.
oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dino's on. Dino's guest host today. So thanks, Dino. Appreciate it. It's pretty cool. But it's just like mindset, right? It's just, gratitude. Just the little things that make a big difference. Then go work out, come home, and it just sets the day. It just sets the day, right? Like this morning last night I had a social with our networking group. Had a couple drinks. I was like, well, I got up and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but it's like it's December 1st. I got to get up. I can't skip. Like you got to get it done. So, thanks to Dino for that extra morning routine, but it certainly helps. It really does. Who else? Anybody else have anything that a little bit different that they do? Brendan, what about you?
Well, until the last 2 weeks, it was always, I'm a morning person, so I have to have like accountability in the morning.
Yeah.
So workout Monday, Wednesday, Friday, my workouts are at 5.
Yeah.
And then alternative days doing like kind of sauna, ice, that kind of routine. I think mindset wise, and I've gotten out of it, and Andy and you just this miracle morning, and Andy, you just doing like kind of devotional. I think anytime I've stayed in that mode where I'm kind of clearing my head in the mornings and giving thanks, that's always been good. I think for the last 2 years, I've just been really active in the mornings, not intentional.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, but that's been my decompress, get my head clear. And I know as soon as I skip any of those, I can kind of tell in my mindset, or just maybe not mindset, but like just in my general demeanor in tackling problems versus like, hey, of course this loan's going sideways. Who cares? Let's figure it out.
Right. It's attitude.
Of course, when we round third base, there's some massive issue that everyone missed.
Yeah. Right.
Of course, our underwriter thinks that our borrower is committing loan fraud and a total piece of garbage. You know what I mean? So I can just say mine has been more physical in the last 2 years than anything to keep my head in the game.
Got it. Cool. Yeah. I knew you had some pretty cool morning routines and the weekend ice baths and saunas. Yeah. Brendan's got a pretty cool setup if you ever are swinging through Nashville, for sure. Cool. Anybody else want to share?
I can go.
Dino.
No, I'll let Dina go.
Oh,
He put his hand up first. He can go first.
all right. We'll go Dino. Then Glorcel.
No, Glorcel, come on. What do you got?
Ladies first. Glorcel, go.
All right. So I'm normally up around 5:45 by 6. I have 2 young kids that delightfully are morning people, and I'm actually not. So the struggle is real, but I do it. So first thing is I have an insulated bottle next to me, so I drink water with lemon first thing, just as a wake me up kind of thing, before coffee. And then I typically take a shower, get dressed. If I'm not dressed and showered and ready before my kids get up, it sort of throws my whole day into, chaos. So I like to be ready. And then I run my dishwasher every night before bed. So I go downstairs and unload my dishwasher. Once again, if my kitchen's not clean when I go to bed, when I come downstairs, my whole day gets chaotic. So I go downstairs, unload the dishwasher, get everything ready for the kids' breakfast, and then I come up and I still have an old school paper planner. Yeah. I use I have a simplified planner by Emily Lay that I use. So I look at my calendar, my notes, my calendar for the day. Like, what do I have going on today? Do I have a smart start? Am I going into
Right.
the office? Am I working from home? Do my kids have swim practice? Like what's going on today? So I can just
Yeah.
mentally be prepared. And then I typically just do a to-do list, a quick, work to-do list, personal to-do list. And usually by that time, my kids are up and saying, "Mommy,
Wow.
mommy." So then I get them dressed and out the door. And then I either head to the office, or after I drop them off, I start my day.
Yeah. So you get a lot done. So and what time do they get up?
They're up around 6:15, 6:30.
Yeah.
So I try to get 45 minutes to an hour before they get up.
Nice. So you're getting a lot done before they get up. That's great. They're forcing you to be a morning person.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Kids do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Dino.
This is going to sound maybe a little weird, but when you're talking about mindset, I love all these ideas. One thing that I think people often miss with mindset is nutrition. If you look at your body like a finely tuned Ferrari, what you put into it absolutely makes a difference, and the quality of what you put into it absolutely makes a big difference. And
Sure. Yep.
I've noticed that about myself personally. If I'm on a trend of really being intentional on eating the right food, I just think that like my mindset, like I can arm wrestle my mindset if I'm not in a good spot. I think we all can, but sustainability of it becomes difficult. And so when you actually can assist your body by eating the right stuff, getting the right amount of sleep, all that kind of thing that we often miss because of the stress and the pace and the holidays, especially December. Like it's amazing how people can be good for 10 months of the year and then throw it all out the window in November and December because of holiday parties and excuses or drink. I'm telling you, if you pay attention to your mindset, it will follow. And so I put a link to a podcast in chat. It's a Joe Rogan podcast, and he interviewed this guy, Gary Brecka, who is pretty amazing when it comes to nutrition. And Andy, one of the things that he mentioned that reminded me of what you said is one of Gary's morning routines is he gets up and he lives in Florida, so it's sunny all the time, but he gets up and he walks barefoot. And he just lets the sun shine on his face. And he says, you realize how many corporate people don't like get in the sun like every day, even for 5 minutes? They just stay in a box. They get in their car that's a box. They drive home to a box. It's like this, and he goes, all that plus your nutrition goes into like the quality of your mindset. So I wanted to throw that out there. It's a very interesting podcast, and just be very mindful how you're nourishing your body, because that, in my opinion, I'm no doctor, but that has a direct correlation, man.
Hey, Dino, you see that X there?
Yeah, what's that?
XPT.
So I would say this, and this is not a habit, but I try to make it one. So that app, you click on it. Here, hold on.
Okay.
And then, so on the app, it's Laird Hamilton and Gabby Reese's app. And like if you get into any Laird stuff,
my man crush. God, I love Laird.
He's psychotic, but he, in a good way, he always says it's about the breath.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Dino, I would second, and nutrition. So that app costs $99 a year. When you go in there, the guy that runs it is a trainer. He kind of trains Laird and Gabby, but he also trains like SEALs, UFC fighters, athletes out in LA. And they have a whole their whole thing is breathe, move, recover. So in the breathing part of the app, they have like 100 different breathing protocols, and all you do is hit the button. Wow. So like this one, look at that one. Can you?
Advanced ice bath breathing. Oh,
yeah.
God.
So we play that in the ice bath, and it's about a 4-minute protocol.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
there's a sauna protocol. There's a driving to work protocol. There's a morning get refreshed. There's ones where you're doing like long breath holds. And
What's
I
the
mean,
app called?
That's what
Brendan?
I'm talking about, man. That's awesome.
XPT.
XPT?
Yeah, and it looks like that X.
Got it.
And so I think that anytime I'm staying either physical, I'm breathing, journaling, all the things we're all mentioning, it's just one of those things where I'm like, why don't I do it more? Like Lauracell, you're like, hey, here's what has to happen. For me, anytime I do a breathing exercise in the morning, my brain is just, I feel like I've done something to win the day at that point, to where I'm like, I'm mentally in it. So I'm just little tricks, it's like, this is like we're all playing golf and it's like, hey, here's my utility club. Here's my putter. Here's my new 20-degree, you guys get what I'm saying.
Well, no, and you think about it, like these are things that anybody, like we can all do these things, right? It doesn't require talent, doesn't require money, it doesn't right? It's just discipline really more than anything. And, do the things that your average, the average competitor isn't doing, right? It's just like, and you do it for yourself, right? Selfishly do it for your health, do it for your mindset, forget about the whole business piece of it, but it obviously has dual functions. So, but yeah, but thanks, Dino, also for the nutrition piece, because that's so true, right? Like I've done these nutrition challenges, and my workouts are so much better than when I'm off that, right? It makes a huge difference for sure.
Yeah, man. Agreed.
So awesome. Anybody else have anything else to share on morning routines, mindset? Cool. So challenge you to pick, take one of these ideas if you're not doing it, maybe implement it, or implement one thing, right? Try one thing, and just see how it goes, right? I think that's key. And then part two we want to talk about was like, this is a tough month from the standpoint of focus, right? It's so easy to get distracted and pulled in different directions, right? And it's easy to say, oh, well, the realtors have so much going on. They're having these soirees and these parties and visit Santas and, the pie giveaways and all these things. And they're just, maybe I shouldn't call them. Well, again, that's a mindset thing, right? We have to think about what we do this month. Like today's December 1st. What we do from now to the end of the month has a really big impact on our January and our February. So, last time I checked, we're all on commission for the most part, right? So, we really have to focus this, this month, this week, today on, hey, what are we going to do? So, just a small share on something that I had a meeting yesterday with two new financial planners. They're brothers, a financial planning business. They were referred to me from an estate planning attorney that I've known for 15 years. We just networked together, and that was actually part of that social last night. We're all in the same group. And the story goes like this: I got an email a week ago, 3-way email, and Blake and Drew are the financial planning brother, the team, and they said, hey, they were looking for a lender. And so Jeff does a 3-way email. Jeff's the attorney. Simple email saying, hey, I know you're looking for a lender to refer business to. I've known Michael for many years. He's the best of the best. Please reach out, connect. I think you'll be happy. Something like that. So I replied all, said, hey, thank Jeff for the connection. Initially he was just looking for a HELOC, somebody to refer a HELOC to, right? So, I'm, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, I could take it and refer out a HELOC, or maybe try to do it in-house or something like that. But, I stopped and said, well, wait a minute, this is a great opportunity to meet these guys, right? So And I looked them up. They're like 10 minutes away. They're at the Battery, which is where the Braves play. They have a really cool office over there. So I said, hey, look, let's meet, right? Yeah, I'd love to come, check out your office. And they said, yeah, that's fantastic. So anyway, fast forward a week, yesterday I went over and met with them and just had a great meeting. They were prior Wells Fargo wealth advisors. They left about a year ago to start their own business. And as you can imagine, they were referring all their mortgage business to the Wells people, which was just, in their words, atrocious, like super painful to deal with. So they needed somebody, like literally in their words, a partner, like somebody they can partner up with for their clients. So had a great meeting, and they sent an email and BCC'd me. They sent an email to, I think they have about 250 active clients. They sent an email out yesterday saying, hey, look, as you know, we're obviously no longer with Wells Fargo, but we still have a great connection for mortgages. If you're considering a purchase or refinance, please reach out and we can connect you. So they sent that out to their whole database yesterday. So, I was thinking about, like, I was driving back thinking about it, and I've known this, I've known Jeff, this attorney, for like 15 years. And I'm wondering in my mind, how long has he known these financial planners, even though they were with Wells? Like, I think, I'm looking at it saying, like, I should have gotten connected to these guys a long time ago, right? So I'm just, I'm thinking in my mind, what could I have done differently, right? How could I have gotten that connection, sooner? And I'm glad I got it. And I think we're going to have I think it'll be a great relationship. But I guess the point is, think about your sphere, think about your network. And like, we're all going to be going to a lot of holiday get-togethers, right? Between now and the new year. You're going to be meeting a lot, just bumping elbows with a lot of people. Some you know real well, some you may not know real well. So I think it's a great opportunity, shifting from just calling, 30 realtors every day, right? Because we're used to doing that, right? We do that all the time. Use this month maybe to shift your focus on calling on different people, calling on financial advisors, right? Their busiest quarter is right now. Fourth quarter is their busiest quarter. Mm-hmm. They are running into opportunities right now. And so, it's different, right? It's a different call. It's a different meeting than the realtor meeting. So I would say, it's the who do you know who discussion. If you're at these holiday parties or you're in your networking groups, or think about your sphere right now, like your trust attorneys, your family attorneys. Hey, listen, hey, Bob, question for you. Do you know a really good financial advisor? I'm really looking to connect with a good FA between now and the end of the year. Do you have somebody you could connect me with? Ask the question, right? Ask your sphere to introduce you. So, I think those are, it's just changing the process and the idea of who we're going to connect with. We all love realtors. We know realtors can refer us the most business, right? Or in theory, but there's a lot of other people out there that can refer really good deals. And and Brendan, you're probably the best at it. You probably have the most referrals from FAs. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's and this goes back to, like, hey, let's say, just to recast, if you start your morning out the way you want to, where it's stacked with food, breathing, exercise, meditation, journaling, something that gets your mind right. And you say, hey, between 8 and 9 is like when I put on the cleats to go be the warrior, to go out and do what I'm supposed to do, right? And hey, if I have my pipeline of leads I'm working right now that they've inquired over the summer and they're sitting in my pipeline, not my pipeline, in my prospect drawer in Encompass, and I've got that all organized and there's 30 of them, right? Okay, cool. Now what? Well, I've got my accounts pyramid. I've got my realtors, ring, ring. Hey, got anything for me? Hey, what, just reshuffling like Michael's story here. Hey, let's get together. And I think whatever that get together is with a realtor either needs to be business planning for 24.
Yeah.
What are we doing together? Are we teaching classes? Are we doing open houses? I mean, this is all like, guys, this is this is like, I feel like I'm a football coach going, okay, so now here's the offensive line and here's the defensive line and here's how you block and here's how you tackle, right? All right, good. So we're there, right? And we can make those calls. Now what? Okay, we're burned out on realtors. They're super busy. They don't like taking our calls. We had a really good meeting. That's going to ebb and flow. And remember, that's the red ocean right now. Like if we went to every loan officer training planning, 75% of the focus is realtors. It's 75% of the focus. Oh, what are we going to talk about? 2-1 buy downs. I mean, just the same shit. Oh my God. Hey, did you guys know that the conforming loan limit went from 726,200 to 766,400? Who gives a fuck? Like, this is nothing to a realtor. Oh my God, you can get 4 units with 5% down, the Fannie Mae new rule. Okay, Sam's not on the call today. Apparently everybody's doing that in Chicago. Yeah, Sam, show me the pipeline. I'll believe it when I see it, when I can recommend to a first-time home buyer to go buy a 4-unit primary. No, I would never tell any friend to do that. In way over your head. So now, Michael, what do you do for your mindset when you're like, how do I generate other leads? How do I do this? So yes, financial planners. Yes, anybody who runs a business. Yes, any lawyer who does anything. Yes, any contractor who has employees. Yes, any commercial agent. You ever thought about calling a commercial agent? Call a commercial leasing agent. My neighbor next door, he's one of the most successful commercial leasing agents in Nashville. Go to a hockey game with him, Mike, he literally knows everyone. Tatum Flynn, his head spin. Hey dude, oh, hey dude. He's shaking hands as we're getting beers at Bridgestone Arena. He knows like everyone. Just so you know what a commercial leasing agent does is when companies come to town, he's trying to find them a 5, 7, or 10-year lease for their business.
Yep.
He just placed the #1 probate attorney's office, a guy named Matt, who I know. He's kind of a shopper mortgage guy. I tried to work with him a couple times, but Matt Potempa has like 11 employees. I could call Matt right now and say, hey, I just had coffee with Tatum this morning. He told me he found you a new space. Hope you're doing well. Let's go grab coffee. By the way, if you don't try to get names from them and business from them, but if you just actually go meet with them, like put it this way, Matt Potempa would meet me at Fido. By the way, he's an associate adjunct professor at Vanderbilt for probate law. He's mid-40s, like pretty wife, cute family. He's like the perfect attorney guy, lives in a $2 million house. Why wouldn't I want to go meet with him?
Right.
Hang out and say, hey, how can I refer you more probate business? And he'd say, well, dude, here's how I get my business. And I'd say, awesome. And then at some point he'd be like, well, dude, real estate, what's going on? What are you doing? What do you think? Well, hey, Matt, great. Thanks for having coffee with me. Trust, if I'm going to try to send you some business. If you need anything, or if any of your employees have a question, call me.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff, guys. I don't think Matt Potempa, who's the #1 probate attorney in Nashville, is getting 0 calls from mortgage people.
Correct.
See that? That's a 0.
Right.
A $10 million realtor is getting 20 calls from loan officers.
Right.
20 to 30. Every holiday party, Tom Schnellenby and Betty Buttercup, LO number 1 and 2 are dying to walk over and shake their hand and say, hey, let's get together sometime. I've got a 3-2-1 buy down. I'd love to show you. I mean,
Yeah.
This is where being a loan officer, you've got to take the, hey, my job is to call realtors. And I think you should go to niches and consumers and attempt, if your goal is to have 10 meetings a week with business sources, make 4 of them non-realtors.
Yeah.
And just talk about them. By the way, they're so eager to talk about what's going on in whatever town you live in, the real estate. Parker, like, what do you think about real estate right now? Oh, well, what do you mean? Well, Jesus, my friend, you know, like, they're going to tell you their theories. By the way, set up, hey, you know, Michael, it's funny you have all these questions. When was the last time? Now you're the attorney, ready? Hey, when was the last time you and your wife sat down with anybody kind of doing a 5-year real estate plan? Because you guys just moved from Belmont over to Oak Hill. Would you ever be interested? I've been doing these 5-year planning reviews for my clients. I know it's kind of weird, but maybe we could sit down.
Yeah.
It takes about 30 minutes. It would be, you know, me and a buddy invented it, and we just feel like nobody does real estate planning review.
Yeah.
And most financial planners, they kind of talk about it, but this is a system. It would take us 30 minutes. Would you be interested?
Sure. Yeah, we look at that. Why
There's
not?
your close.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's all about real estate, well, here, let's
Yeah.
make a formal meeting about this.
Yep.
So if you thought that every financial planner, every independent business person, every commercial leasing agent is open right now for some type of meeting, that if you simply said, I want to refer you clients and learn more about what you do so I can refer you more in 2024, does anybody on the planet say no to that meeting?
Nope. And another thing too, what I noticed about like this meeting yesterday that I had, you know, right now realtors, they could be negative right now, right? It's slow, it's tough, right? When you're meeting with these other people in different industries, their mindset is different, right? And it's actually refreshing to be around people that are excited about their business, they're excited about the market, they're positive, right? That's, you know, that's contagious, right? So I left that meeting yesterday and I was pumped up, right? I was super excited. So I think that's another element that we're missing too, is like we you know, we definitely want to be around people that are excited and positive about growing their business. Not saying all realtors are not. Some are, we know that, but again, it's just a different angle. So
Well, Michael, the ability for us to kind of keep it refreshing. You know, monotony can be very good if you're making a really nice French baguette. Let's do it the same way every time.
Yeah.
You know, you have a good French bakery in Atlanta, and it's like, ooh, it's got the crisp and the crunch, and it's just like they make them in Paris, and thank God they make them the same way every day.
yeah.
McDonald's hamburger, whatever it is, when your brain says this tastes good to me, you don't want too much variety after that. I think that I've never been able to get in a slotted groove with any realtor for the history of my career. I've never been able to do it. And when I committed with Dino, when we started the Ultimate Business Partners, the whole concept was pick one and make them your business partner and bring them revenue and lock them down. Well, I did that for 7 years. It worked until it didn't.
Yep.
And, you know, and you got to pick one and live with the good and the bad. So I think for all of you, the mindset of, I tell you this because I think ultimately your mindset can be this, ready? I want to write out my best looking business, and I want to have a healthy, like, panorama of leads, And if I keep that lead flow consistently diverse, while still knowing that real estate agents are the number one main line in most instances.
Yeah.
Unless, Michael, you invented some channel that you blew up,
Right.
And oh, by the way, one of my best friends in the business, he's crazy. He's in Denver. He's a builder only guy flying on private jets to Vegas with LG Homes and all this. Calls me one day, hey, LG Homes fired me. They hired Loan Depot. And I said, Brett, cry me a river. Go find another one.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, I was looking for a little more sympathy. And I was like, dude, when you put all your eggs in one basket, what do you want from me?
Mhm.
You're working with $1 billion company. Of course they could fire you in a nanosecond and take a better offer.
Yeah.
So be careful when you go and you start thinking that, hey, this one realtor, oh my God, we're going to be in a relationship forever. I always say that there's a honeymoon period and there's a growth period, and then there's a, oh shit, what happened period.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
Michael,
Yeah.
remember Richie, the two Richies?
Oh, yeah.
You don't even talk to one of them anymore.
Right.
3
Brendan,
years
do you
ago.
remember that saying that we kicked around a long time ago, and it was clients and prospects are a renewable resource. I haven't thought of that in a long time, but it's so true.
That's right. Yes, 100%. So I think, we got about 7 minutes left. So I think,
Michael, real quick, can we,
Yeah.
instead of our health or physical routines in the morning, can we find out what Brendan's hair routine is in the morning?
So ready? It's called this. You see that? So about
Yeah.
2 weeks ago before Thanksgiving, I thought I had COVID, Justin. Well, it turns out I had a murmur in my heart, and I'm going in on Wednesday for a mitral valve repair surgery. They go through your rib. They don't open me up down the middle, and they're
Good Lord.
repairing my mitral valve, which I didn't know I had a family history of.
wow.
Yeah. So kind of fun, huh?
Not so much, but is that?
Yeah, this is called no shower. We're
It's
like going.
It's called happy to be alive. Who gives a shit what your hair looks like?
Well, you know what? So this is what's funny, and I'll tell you all this. Everybody's known somebody that's had like open heart surgery or surgery for like their arteries blocked or something. Well, so 2% of Americans have mitral valve, what's called prolapse. So your heart goes like this, and this is your valve, and it may stay a little open, it may stay shut for longer. Mine just is like this. So blood, whenever it happened, we don't know why it happened, but I have a family history of it. I just started feeling short of breath. I didn't feel right, and so once you learn like the whole thing, when you go into any heart situation, they do all these standard tests, and one of them they run iodine through your arteries under you're under an X-ray, and that tells you whether you have like blockage, and some of it can be just hereditary, some of it can be your diet, some of it can be just a complete fluke because your heart's a muscle, and it's so I've had this whole roller coaster of like emotion, and but honestly, like education. So take a wild guess, Michael. I got the bill on our Aetna insurance on my Vanderbilt app. What do you think the bill is for this whole deal?
I think you're up to about 110 grand.
160,000.
Jeez. Wow.
So my copay is 4,900.
Damn.
Hey, I look at this.
Hey.
So here's what they do. They go in and they do the surgery. They repair the valve, and then recovery time's 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And according to my surgeon, you can kind of just go back and do whatever you were doing before. he's like, hey, your heart's repaired and we'll be monitoring it. You can go back to working out and doing all that stuff. So you talk about like mindset. One of the things that I've been kind of full circle on and just thinking about is the importance of effectiveness and like being efficient in your being efficient with your time. Like, do I really want to meet this person? Is this a realtor I really think I should be contacting? And just being a little more selective. Because I do think that, like, in the end, we have time is our only resource that's limited. And if we shotgun everything and try everything, then maybe we're not as effective, you know? And so for me, having that perspective of just being like, okay, is this call really an important call or not? And that's maybe some of the stuff that, like, in the end, truly, when we get distracted in our day and we look back, a lot of the stuff might have been anticipating like some problem that we overreacted to. And, like, put it this way, it's like with I just thinking of Gloricel, like, if we had just ignored it altogether, our processing team would have solved it. Like, the title attorney would have fixed it, and we could have just stayed focused on what we were supposed to be doing. And then, like, the next day, it's like, hey, what happened on the Smith deal? They're like, oh, we figured it out. Versus, like, the loan officer that wants to babysit everything and, like, run around like a chicken with their head cut off to, quote, solve problems, when the reality is it would have solved itself.
Sure. Yeah.
So, well, Michael, great. This stuff's always kind of fluffy, but to me, it's always like the meat of what we really do.
Yeah. No, it's good. Thanks for sharing. I think I didn't want to bring it up. So, but thanks for,
no problem.
Thanks for sharing. It definitely, end with this, right? You don't have to make calls. Like, oh, I have to make calls. No, you get to make calls. You're fortunate enough to get to make phone calls. Like, you're an able body person that can pick up the phone, make phone calls, and really create your own destiny. So I would say this, challenge yourself. We're going to meet again in 2 weeks, and we will I want everybody to share at least one, like, success story of a meeting that you've set from a non-realtor. So that's the challenge. Non-realtor meeting, pick it, doesn't matter. Financial advisor, estate attorney, commercial broker. We've got some really good ideas. And then one last thing that I would say is, if you have wealthy clients and you're on good terms with them, call them, ask them who their financial advisor is that you would love to connect. We all have those customers. And then the last thing I'll say is, I put in the chat, I was doing the HR, like, orientation. I think that Moom pays for the Calm app. It's like it's another, I've never been on it, but maybe check it out. Calm, CALM. I just saw that in the presentation. So apparently they pay for it. So
do they provide the CBD gummies when you get on the app?
That I don't know. I'm not sure. But we can find that out.
Let's get Sam on here.
Yeah, there you go. Sam missed a good one. But hey, Brendan, thanks for hopping on. You obviously had a lot of other things that you
well, what it boils down to is my energy level only gets up to a certain, and then I need to kind of chill, because my resting heart rate's like 85, which my heart's just saying work faster, because it's not, this isn't shutting.
Yeah.
But I will tell all of you, go, if you can do anything under your insurance to get, because I had no warnings. If you can do anything to get, like, initial heart things, your heart and your brain, those are the two. Obviously, anything else is going to be cancer, or like you get run over by a truck and you can't, you walked out in the street and you couldn't avoid it. But your heart, I've learned so damn much. I'm now, like, if I'm if this valve thing is like a hereditary thing, I'm going to have my kids tested just so they know they have it versus not, so.
For sure.
We complain about insurance and medical, but when you go through it and you get a really good team that's sitting there explaining everything to you, you're like, these freaking doctors are like warriors.
Yeah.
I sat in the ER, Michael. So they put me in a room. I'll finish. They put me in a room over Thanksgiving while they were doing all the tests. We had to cancel our trip to DC. It was a bummer. And I was in a room with a guy my age. I'm 52. And he's waiting on a heart and a kidney transplant. He used to be a builder in Johnson City, Tennessee, custom home builder, woke up in an ambulance in 2014 and had his first heart attack. They did triple bypass. His arteries were all blocked. He had all sorts of shit. He was a smoker and a drinker. My height, 6'4". And so he was on the other side of the room in this curtain, and we were like talking in between the curtain.
Jeez.
I'm sitting there, dude, it's a nurse brigade. So he's had all sorts of complications. He's on disability. And it was like one of those things that was surreal. Like I couldn't sleep. So I'm talking to him at 3 o'clock in the morning about his life story. And initially I was kind of like, oh shit, I don't have my own room because whatever. But then I was like, no, this is exactly how it's supposed to be because I'm supposed to hear about this guy's story. And I look up and he knew all about how the hospital was run and the nursing. And dude, he's waiting on, by the way, if you ever want to get fascinated about transplants, like it's just I could bore you, but it's completely fascinating. A transplant's about $1.5 million.
Jeez.
And he's eligible. And so I just like, I have such a different perspective on surgeons, ER doctors, like, I mean, hospitals are like war zones. And wherever the heck you live, just hope that you have a well-run hospital that's like, hey, if my life depends on it, I'm in the hands of people. God's in charge, but like these doctors that I used to kind of think were schmucky people, I had this stigma. I mean, they go to battle every day. Like we're not doing life and death shit. Right. They are. And they don't, and honestly, I don't even think they still get paid enough to do what they do. At least not the ones at Vanderbilt. But thank you for being on the call today. Hopefully you got a nugget that you can take away. And Michael, next Friday is Smart Start Academy.
Yep.
Okay. If you guys need anything, you guys know how to reach out to us.
You got it. Dino, any last comments as our guest?
No, man. Great to see you, Brendan. Thanks for the update, dude. Always good to see you, sir. Thanks for letting me be here.
And thanks for this link. I took a picture of it. I'm going to try to figure out how to load it into my computer and watch.
I'll send it out to people in the follow-up.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome if you could do that.
Thanks, Ben. All right, Brendan, take care of yourself, buddy.
See you guys.
See everybody.
Right, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Good weekend. Take care. Bye.